Hey guys, welcome to the dating game with Troy Francis. How to ask a woman to be your girlfriend is a question that I often get asked. And the answer is you don't. Okay? You don't. It's not your role to do that. All right. End of video. I'm only joking, we'll carry on for a bit. But no, look, if you are sitting there thinking, okay, so I've met her, I really like her, I want her to be my girlfriend, what do I do now? How do I move things forward? How do I ask her? That is the wrong mindset, okay? What should be happening is the opposite of that, okay? She should be seeking to lock you down, okay? She should be seeking to make things official with you. All right. Now, a mistake that guys make a lot, and I find this just really hard to get my head around, but this happens quite frequently apparently, is that guys will go on, a couple of dates, one or two or three dates with the girl, and then they'll be like, okay, so what's happening? So what are we? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Blah, blah, blah. It's too soon, man. It's too early. It's too you haven't even had the opportunity to really get to know her yet, okay? And look, once more, what do women look for? They look for a high value man, okay? Hypergamy, right? They are seeking to attract the highest value guy that they can in the dating pool. Okay. Now, high value, of course, can be defined in various different ways, but maybe money's part of it, maybe looks is part of it, maybe social status and respect and so on. There's a variety of different things. But anyway, she's looking to essentially attract the highest value man that she can get. If you are a super high value guy, are you going to be seeking to, within a couple of dates, lock down or compelled to enter into a relationship with this woman that you've only just met? It doesn't seem like the behavior that somebody who is very high value and has a lot of options and probably also has limited time would do. It doesn't seem like the sort of thing that somebody would undertake if they are in that position. Can you imagine like an A-list actor, for example, or a top rapper or somebody in entertainment or a top businessman or whatever, who is like he's met her and then 2 days later he's like, hey, so what's happening? It apart from anything else, it bespeaks a degree of insecurity because the guy really should be so confident in his value that he's not even worried about the fact that she's going to potentially want somebody else, because that's what it comes down to as well, isn't it? The reason that guys do this is because they think, well, if I don't do this, if I don't get this exclusivity agreement from her, then she might go off and find someone else. But if you were that confident about yourself, about your value, then you wouldn't be worried about that because you'd just be thinking, well, where else is she going to go? Right? This is the best she's going to get. So that's one thing, and that's gonna now objectively, of course, that may not be true because obviously she's got different options. There may be many high value dudes where you live and so on and so forth. But it's certainly a valuable thing to communicate. It's certainly a valuable thing to emanate that you have such great confidence in yourself that you're not even, you're not even trying to lock the person down because um as I say, it would only be the highest value guy who would be not concerned with that. Okay. And the second thing is, it's just kind of, it's a bit lame, right? Because you just don't know her well enough, really. It takes time to get to know somebody. Now, I know there are examples and there are stories, and it's like, oh, we dated twice and then I knew she was the one and blah, blah, blah. I know that kind of thing happens, and I'm not saying it can never work, but in general, really, look, I mean, if you, particularly when we're talking about marriage, right, which is such a huge commitment, it's such a big thing in people's lives. There are obviously risks attached to it, et cetera, et cetera. We all know this stuff. Um, to just basically head in that direction after a few dates with somebody without even really doing your due diligence, it just seems like a very foolish way to go. And you're not going to be judged favorably by the woman for that. The other thing that may happen as well is she might think, because women intuitively know that guys like to have options, okay? Like, guys, she's not going to want you to exercise those options necessarily, but she likes to know that, you are a heterosexual male, you enjoy the company of different women, you're somebody, you're kind of programmed to spread your seed, as they say, okay? So if within the first couple of days or couple of weeks, you're just like saying to her, "Oh, let's make it just you and me, babe," then there's got to be a part of her that thinks, "Well, hang on a minute, is like, has this dude got no other options? Like, what's the problem here? Does nobody else want him? Has he, does he not get any other dates? And remember, women from their point of view, because they are deluged often with opportunities, they don't understand the marketplace from the men's point of view. They don't understand that for many guys, actually, it is very difficult to get a date, or it's very difficult to, to find a girlfriend or whatever. So they're coming from a point of view of thinking it's kind of the same for guys as it is for them. So it's super easy, and you can just go out and get anybody. So that makes it even worse, because then she's thinking, well, hang on a minute, so we're in this degenerate, as people would say, age where everyone's just dating around. It's this hookup culture, and this guy can't even get any. Like, what's wrong with him? And nobody wants to take on. No woman wants to take on what she would see as like some kind of substandard, like bargain basement package. Okay, so what's much better from every point of view is basically to hang back. Okay, you want to spend time with her. All right. You want to get to know her. You want to go on some cool dates. You want to have some fun times together. Okay. You don't want to be seeking to make things official too quickly. Okay. And ideally, that conversation about it becoming official should be initiated by her, because that's going to show genuine desire from her side. And that's really what you need. Okay. You don't really want to be in a relationship with a woman where you've had to sort of finagle her to convince her to be your number one. You want it to be the other, coming from the other side. You want her to be saying, no, Troy, listen, I want you to stop seeing everybody else. I want us to be, together. That's what you want, ideally. Okay. So, just be very, very careful about this, because I do hear a lot of stories of guys doing this, and it can put women off, unfortunately. We think that women are super romantic, and they're super like, they're gonna really like it. They say, "Oh, this guy really likes me. That's so sweet. That's so nice," and they're gonna really appreciate it. Actually, often, regrettably, the opposite can be true. She can think, "Oh, hang on a minute," and particularly in the West, right? Particularly London, Miami, New York, wherever. Okay, particularly in these places, it's like, "Hang on a minute, this is all a bit fast. Why is he moving so quickly? This is a bit much," right? It's sort of counterintuitive. It's not how we think things should go down, because of the way that we've been taught by the media and by films and by rom-coms and sitcoms and so on about how women operate. And it should just be this very simple equation of us saying, "Listen, I really like you. I want to offer you my unconditional love," and she should swoon, and it's all fantastic. Just doesn't really work like that. Not in the real world. Not, unfortunately. And part of this, regrettably, goes back to the old, nice guys finish last, because you can bet your life, you can bet your last dollar that the bad boy jerk character that she really likes, she really craves, is not doing that stuff. Okay. You can bet your absolute last dime that that guy was not seeking to lock her down. That guy was not trying to make things official in that way. Okay. If anything, it was probably the opposite. If anything, she was probably chasing him around. Okay. So, again, you just got to think about it from the point of view of female psychology. And as I've always said, people tend to covet that which they can't quite get. Okay. People tend to want the things that are difficult or seem more difficult to obtain. And if you seem very, very easy to obtain because you just hand yourself over on a silver platter, then you just seem less attractive as a proposition. Okay. Now, yep, she might like you. She might think you're cute. She might enjoy spending time with you. I'm not saying she will say no. Maybe she will agree to be boyfriend and girlfriend with you. I don't know. I'm just saying that as a tactical move, it's not really the best move. Okay. Because once more, you don't want to sort of And I've also heard stories of this happening where the guy has kind of cajoled the girl, or he's got her. They've done a few dates, or maybe they've done 4 or 5 weeks, and then he's like, right, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend, and she's agreed. Okay, initially she's agreed, and then a week or a few days later, she sort of reneged on the agreement, and he's had a message, and she said something like, "Oh, listen, I've had to think about things, and actually, I don't think I'm ready for this yet." And why is that? Well, we don't know. I mean, there's a variety of causes probably, but very likely part of it is the guy was too keen. The guy was too needy. Because the guy tried to lock her down, and then she's like, "Oh fuck, actually, hang on a minute, Jesus, what am I doing here?" You know. So in the moment when they met up and he made the proposition, she was like, "Okay, yeah, cool, okay, fine." But then in the cold light of day, she thought about it, and she's like, "This guy was he gave himself over too easily." Because women know intuitively that men value independence, okay? And so if you're somebody who seems willing to just like hand that independence over um, to her willy nilly, then you can't blame her for not really setting her world on fire. Okay, you also remove any sense of mystery that you might have had. There's no sort of like women like the chase as much as men do. It's that like kind of, oh, is he gonna like me? Is he not gonna like me? Is this gonna work out? Is this not gonna work? All of that. And you kind of take all of that away, and especially the earlier you do it. I mean, look, if you've been together for ages, it is pretty clear where things are heading, and then she asks you, well, where do you see us and everything like that. I'm not then totally averse to you saying, well, look, I think you're cool. You're definitely the kind of woman I would definitely like to be in something more serious with. I think you can sort of couch it like that, but that's a lot further down the line. Okay. What I'm talking about is this thing like right at the beginning when you're like, okay, right, how do I get her to be my girlfriend? And once more, the biggest mistake really that a guy can make is going out into the dating marketplace specifically looking for a girlfriend. That is the wrong mindset, in my opinion. Okay. You're going out to date, you're going out to meet people to see if you vibe with those people. Okay. But you can't just go out willy nilly. It's not like buying a new fridge. You go around to different hardware stores and you look at different refrigerators and you're like, okay, that's the one. Okay, I'll have that one. Right? This is about human beings, and human beings are all different. And the way that you interact with each human being is going to be different. So, by definition, you can't go into a date with somebody and be sort of auditioning them immediately for the girlfriend role. I suppose you can, but it just doesn't really work like that. You've got to see how it plays out between the two of you. And really, you can only do that over time. It doesn't need to be years. I'm not saying months or years or whatever, but it's going to take a while. How long does it really take to get to know somebody? I mean, you could argue it's a year, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, maybe it's a year and a half, maybe even longer, right? I don't know, but you want to take some time, okay? And guys get very stressed in that initial period because they kind of think, oh well, what if she's dating around and blah blah blah. Maybe she is. Maybe she is. I mean, we're living in 2024. This is the way of the world. You should also have your options open as well, because once more, and I'm not saying this is being like, oh, a degenerate player or something, but once more, you also don't know yet if she's a keeper or not. And I've seen this happen as well, where guys have been like, oh, I've met this girl. She's so amazing. I'm throwing all of my I'm throwing everything into this now, getting rid of my roster. She's the one, blah, blah, blah. And then, 5 minutes later down the line, something happens. She reveals a side of herself that he doesn't like, and now he's left high and dry. Okay. So once more, you want to still be out there. You want to be being social. I'm not saying you need to be sleeping with a ton of people, but you want to be like, you want to have your own options as well. Okay. And you want to spend time with this person. You want to get to know her. You want to see how, and it's not just getting to know her, it's also getting to know, okay, how do we relate together? What is the relationship between us like? What is the chemistry between us like? Does that work? Does that feel good? Okay, you want to do that. And then you want to kind of see how things go. Now, ideally, if you are demonstrating sufficient value, she should be the one who's trying to lock you down, okay? And here's a final thought for you. If that's not happening, okay, and if that's not happening, consistently, maybe this has happened to you with a few girls where you felt like you've had to be the ones to try and make her your girlfriend rather than her trying to do it to you, the other way around. It could be that you're not demonstrating enough value. Okay, it could be something to do with the way you're coming across, whether it's to do with looks, physique, or the way you dress. More likely than any of that, though, it's going to be a personality thing. It's going to be the way that you present. It's going to be how interesting and exciting you are. Because remember, as I always say, all of this stuff is about emotion. Okay, so what emotions are you creating in her when you are sitting opposite her? Okay, are you creating emotions that are setting her world on fire, or is she just sitting there like, yeah, whatever, this guy's okay, he's got a 401k? You know, if it's all a bit meh, then you can't expect her to want to lock you down. So you've got to be something else. You've got to have that X factor. You've got to have that edge. And that basically is what we teach here on this channel. And also in my course, The Edge with James Tusk as well, actually. If you want any more information about that, you can always email me. I'm on troy@realtroyfrancis.com. But most importantly, do subscribe to this channel. Do hit notifications so you know when new videos are coming up. Give this video a like on the way out, and please write a comment beneath and let me know what you think about this subject, and also if there's something else that you'd like to see me cover on here, or there's a particular subject area that you want to see us discuss. Hope this has been helpful. Speak to you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.